But I have to stick to what we believe and what is right. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and, go backwards.
Yeah.
And even with my wrestlers, like, we're gonna be in the Christmas parade, but I told them, I said, I don't believe in Christmas.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate Santa Claus or Christmas. I said, but I can't deny you guys of,
What they do.
right. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, look, they know. And they're like, oh no, we get it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
As long as you do. So like, as long as I make it that statement, like, hey, I don't believe. But like, I can't just make it selfishly about myself when it comes to the crew.
Yeah.
I was like, but we don't celebrate that stuff. And they're like, no, like, thank you for telling us. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stay 10 toes down on that, because people, they can get really pushy this time of year.
No, not just that, they'll try to be slick about it.
Yeah, and
we won't do Christmas, we'll do, come on, man, it's still about
let's
Christmas.
just fellowship together, like,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't celebrate Christmas because I do love Christ. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, when you really love him, you're gonna seek the truth.
Yeah.
because he told us what to do and remember to him, and then they always want to
Yeah.
worship his birth. He's like,
Yeah.
no, it's Passover.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, Christmas trees. And I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, jingle
Christmas
bells.
tree. Oh man,
Jingle
this is my
bells.
least favorite time of the year, personally.
I'm gonna find out that jingle bells was something with racial stuff back in the day. I forgot what she said it was.
Yeah. And I told,
I think I got a Tradition of Man series lesson on parts of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's under the playlist Tradition of Man. Like, I have one. I think it's called Santa Claus or Santa Claus. I think we go into Jingle Bells a little bit on that one.
Cause she was talking about the whole buck breaking of the man, and how they made him sag sometimes.
And
whatever.
sagging backwards is the
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about all that. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and start with prayer. Father, we just ask for you to forgive us of our sins and the sins of our ancestors. Father, we ask for you to keep us from deception. Father, we ask for you to keep us in your way, and we ask for you to give us the strength and the wisdom to carry on, Father. Help us, Father, because everyone's battling, wars and battles and no one knows about, Father. So just be with us, Father, and lead us and guide us into all truth, Father. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. So today's lesson is tentatively titled "The End from the Beginning."
Yeah.
Right. So, because I've had this ready for a while, but life be life and stuff has happened in the family we had to take care of. And I was just thinking, like, we've always heard that term, right? The end from the beginning. So when you hear that, what does that bring your mind to?
The end from the beginning.
In the text, right?
It means the end from the beginning.
Mhm.
Or, yeah, the end from the beginning.
So, okay, so we'll go to it. It's in Isaiah, my favorite book in the Bible. Isaiah 46 in the text. It says, verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So the Most High, he's the one that does things or lets us know things from the beginning of what the end is going to be. Or vice versa. It's the end from the beginning, right? So technically Genesis is really telling you how the stuff is going to end.
The beginning of the end,
Right.
yeah.
So keeping these things in context, but when you actually read the chapter, there's a specific context from the end, from the beginning. I know that that's how he actually operates when he's letting prophets know things is going to happen. But there's an actual cultural context to that. And it's tied to the people. So we're going to read the whole chapter of Isaiah 46 real quick. Isaiah 46 verse 1. You got it? You want me to do it?
Oh, you can start it off.
Okay. It says, Baal boweth down, Nebo stoopeth. Their idols were upon the beasts and upon the cattle. Your carriages were heavy laden. They are a burden to the weary beasts. They stoop. They bow down together. They cannot deliver the burden, but themselves are gone into captivity. So it's the end from the beginning.
Yeah.
So the whole context of this is still talking about the nation of Israel. It's still talking about a specific people that end up going into captivity, right? So then he says, hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. So this is an intimate thing, right? And even to your old age, I am he. And even to the hoar hairs, that means gray hairs, will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry and will deliver you. So he's talking about delivering the people from a captivity.
Gotcha.
When you're not looking at the actual text and reading the actual text, that's how you get confused. People think those 1948ers are the people, and they ain't in no type of captivity. The stuff it's wild, it's madness. And all this stuff, I'm going to try to tie it all into this Spanish Inquisition is what we've been going over. To whom you will liken me and make me equal and compare me, that we may be like. Right? So the context is a people going into captivity because they're worshiping. You saw two different gods in there. You saw Baal and Nebo, right? So who is Baal? So it's a people that go into captivity for worshiping who?
Baal.
The Lord.
Yeah, Baal. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What do we say, right? What do they say in church? The Lord.
Always.
So there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Fact.
So again, this is Isaiah 46. So it's like perpetual, like the things just keep happening over and over again. And then like this word Nebo, right? Nebo can mean the word prophet, but it was also a Babylonian deity who presided over learning and letters, corresponds to Hermes, Mercury, and the Egyptian Thoth. All of these are the same because they just switched the names, but it's still the same ontological being, if you want to call it that. Right?
The demons always live, no matter where they always have different names.
Same. It's the same game. It's the same game. It just repeats, rinse and repeat, right? And it's also tied to the worship of the planet Mercury also. All of this stuff, right? So again, it's a people that go into captivity and they're worshiping the Lord. You can't make that up. You can't. So then it says, they lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith. And he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. People worship anything.
Man, especially money.
Yeah, boys, especially money. That's the reason why they was actually coming for us, but that's another story. Well, actually, maybe later on. They bear him upon the shoulder. They carry him and set him in his place. And he standeth from his place. Shall he not remove? Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor can save him out of his trouble, making gods out of nothing. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, the Old Testament. For I am Elohim, and there is no one else. I am Yah, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done. So he declared these things from the beginning. All the captivities and everything, the desolations that we've gone through from the beginning. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Right? My pleasure. Then he says, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, you stout-hearted, that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off. And my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place my salvation to the world.
No, in Zion.
In Zion.
In Zion.
For Israel, my glory. And in another text in Isaiah, he says, I will not give my glory to another. Everything is revolved around us finally getting it right.
Yeah.
The world still looks to us, even though we still can't believe it. And a lot of us are still acting a plum fool. We have no maturity. We have no togetherness. And we are literally going after every God under heaven. Every L under heaven. Literally.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into this quick video. fair use. This is for educational and training purposes. This is just some news that's going on about Trump dismantling the education department.
The Trump administration launched a major restructuring initiative to transfer offices from the Department of Education to other agencies and departments. This move will take 6 offices of the Department of Education and place them in 4 other departments. Here's the breakdown, and I am actually shaking as a former educator. We will have the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education, as well as the Office of Post-Secondary Education, move to the U.S. Department of Labor. That means the U.S. Department of Labor will be in charge of K-12 and higher education programs. Next, we have the Office of Indian Education. That will move to the U.S. Department of the Interior, meaning the U.S. Department of Interior is now in charge of tribal education functions. This one I'm super concerned about, having been a teacher in a highly ESOL population, or English as a second language. We have foreign language programs within the education department going to the U.S. Department of State. Marco Rubio, for some reason, and his department need to oversee international/foreign language programs. Okay, and then last but not least, and maybe most scary of all, childcare access and medical education programs move to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Yeah, the guy with the brainworm will be overseeing early childcare and medical education programs. Not good. I would like to take a moment to recognize that in the Mustache Man's reign, there was something called the final solution, and it referred to the Jews and the showers and all of that. And they are using the language final mission. It says this restructuring is part of the Trump administration's, quote, final mission to send more education control back to the states and localities, reduce federal bureaucracy, and shift the Department of Education's role. Hear me out. They're shifting all of these offices to different departments so that the Department of Education cannot carry out its duties. And ultimately, it is much easier to take, say, the U.S. Department of State and look at its budget and say, we just don't have enough anymore to support English as a second language services or anything else having to do with foreign language, for example. That's how this happens. They have never, and by they, I mean politicians in the United States, have never done anything like this before.
The whole government is dumb nowadays, bro. It's just dumb.
The Trump administration.
It's so bad, bro. I literally cannot even stomach to even watch the stuff. I'm like,
I'll stop watching CNN. I love CNN, bro.
I can't
I
do
just
it.
stopped watching it.
I can't do it. So, y'all know about what's going on with, like, was it Texas and the re-registering of the
Districts.
the maps or whatever?
Yeah.
So, I'm not gonna play this video, but they know that the redistricting is literally racist. Like, they know, I'll play it.
Yeah, play it.
Tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court just temporarily blocked a lower court ruling that found Texas's new congressional redistricting plan likely discriminates on the basis of race. That means for now, the new maps approved in this year's special session are back in effect. Tonight's order was signed by Justice Samuel Alito. It'll remain in place for the next few days while the court considers whether the new maps, favorable to Republicans, can be used in the midterm elections. Tonight, the U.S. Supreme Tonight, the U.S.
What do y'all know about Campbell's soup? Get ready. Fair uses for educational and training purposes.
The vice president of Campbell's just got caught saying they use bioengineered meat in their food. He literally said on a voice recording he would never eat their food because it's disgusting, it's made for poor people, and who would want to eat chicken made out of a 3D printer?
A former employee recorded it all. Eric Erickson shares that recording and what the company is saying about it.
We have shit for poor people. Who buys our shit? I don't buy healthy products barely anymore. So healthy. Now that I know what the in it, Even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at meat, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. You millions of them, they couldn't think for the themselves. I'm like, you dumb.
That might be some of the most insane stuff I've ever heard from a vice president of a company that big. Now, if he's the vice president, he knows what's in that damn can. And he said it's 3D printed, bioengineered meat. So Campbell's is pretty much cooked now, and they're getting a massive lawsuit. This might be the end of Campbell's. They released a statement up here, and if we get more information on this case, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. The vice president of
Right there with 3D printed, he was just being.
the vice president.
That's just a little bit of sarcasm. But when you talk about bioengineering, what they're doing is they're growing it in the lab. Yeah. That's act. I mean, the 3D printed, like I said, that's just a taste of sarcasm. But they are growing that stuff from the lab. From the lab there. I mean, that's.
I mean, but they kind of do that for. If you eat a lot of fast food,
Yeah.
I got news for you.
Yeah.
Probably
That's why I
bioengineered.
don't mess with McDonald's, Moe's, Burger King, none of that. And you can tell that, like, if you try to set this stuff on fire, it won't even burn up like that.
Or if you let it sit there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
McDonald's burgers and the buns don't even get old. It's like
Same thing with Burger
there's
King.
this guy I saw last week or the week prior, like, and he's doing his own experiment. It's been a year now.
Yeah.
He looks perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. So just imagine what it's doing in your body.
I don't want to imagine that.
Exactly.
You know, I ain't ate McDonald's.
I don't use KFC no more because they chicken been tasting weird.
Yeah, it don't taste like
Yeah.
chicken no more.
I stopped eating that long time
I
ago.
said, no, it doesn't. You know, KFC, it doesn't taste like, it doesn't have the same.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say it tastes different now.
Yeah, cause like every time that I eat KFC now, my stomach is toe up from the flow up. I'm
Growing up, it
like,
was the best.
man,
But now it's just
every
all the
Sunday.
taste. Yeah.
That's because it had that pork in it, man. You was eating that pork grease back when you was a kid, man.
Well, I don't know. I didn't cook it back then, so possibly.
So, this guy, what's his name? Hexeth?
Excel, yeah.
What do y'all think that he thinks about people of color? We'll just call
Bro,
him
he is racist, bro. Look at his tattoos on him. He is racist, bro.
racist. Okay.
Oh, he-
Have you ever been called like a derogatory term like debris before?
A what?
Debris?
Debris?
I've never heard nobody call somebody a
Fair use this for educational training purposes.
No more social justice, no more political correctness, no more toxic ideological garbage that infected the department. No more identity months, no more DEI offices, no more dudes in dresses.
I talk a lot about unearned arrogance of white men. Pete Hegseth is the poster boy for unearned arrogance from white men. He gave a little speech yesterday to the 4th annual Northeast Indiana Defense Summit or something. I think that Northeast Indiana Defense Summit, you know, the Northeast, not the Northwest Indiana Defense. It's the Northeast. Talk about really getting down to brass tacks. And in this speech, like a half-hour remarks that Pete Hegseth made, he made a bunch of, as you would expect, very troubling comments. He talked about he feels like where we are in America is like a 1939 moment, which if you're brushed up on your World War II history, 1939 was the year that Adolf Hitler began his invasion, his territorial expansion. He invaded Poland and began to try to take over the world. It's when they started in earnest the plot and scheme of genocide to eradicate the world of the Jewish population. That's when it started in earnest. And Pete Hegseth this is a 1939 moment. Pretty alarming. And then, as you would expect, he goes into this bigot-laced nonsense, talking about ridding ourselves of debris, clearing out the debris. And we're going to talk about all of this. There's some very troubling, more troubling than the normal dipshittery from Pete Hegseth. Let's watch this clip, and we will break it down and talk about it on the other side.
This feels like a 1939 type moment, or hopefully a 1981 type moment, where America needs to lead and rebuild to ensure that we maintain that peace through strength. Enemies are gathering and threats are growing. We have to prepare now. So if you're putting America first and the roadmap is peace through strength, the third ingredient President Trump has injected is good old-fashioned Indiana common sense. Common sense is back at the White House and it's back at the Pentagon. Common sense means putting warfighting, lethality, as the senator mentioned, training, discipline, accountability, readiness at the forefront of everything we do at the Department of War. That means no more social justice, no more political correctness, no more toxic ideological garbage that infected the department. As I've said before, but we repeat and we repeat because as a good old television host, you know it takes a while for it to actually sink in. No more identity months, no more DEI offices, no more dudes in dresses. No more climate change. It actually was a thing. It actually was a thing. No more climate change worship, no more division, no more delusions, gender delusions or quotas, no more distraction. As the chairman of the Joint Chiefs puts it, Pete, you're clearing out the debris. That's what it is. We're clearing out the debris from out front of NCOs and officers. We're done with that stuff. It doesn't take a PhD to understand that sergeants don't need sensitivity training.
Pete would be shit out of luck if anything he did required a PhD. Non-smart guy, Pete Hegseth. Talk show host by his own admission, this old talk show host, who's now the Secretary of Defense of these United States. A man who didn't achieve advanced rank while in the Army. He's a major. Which, you know, it's nothing to sneeze at. He's a major. It's a higher rank than I was. I was enlisted. I did the actual work when I was in the Marine Corps. Some very troubling things here. As good as a good old television host to the PhD remark, just maligning a specialty, maligning education, maligning intellectualism, whatever. It's just I got common sense. I don't need them vaccines. It's kind of that attitude from someone who's leading a more than $1 trillion budget per year in the Pentagon. This is who we saw fit to go through the confirmation process in the Senate and name the defense secretary or secretary of war. With all of his jingoistic nonsense and weird buzzwords, lethality, he constantly talks about lethality. The only thing lethal that surrounds you, Pete Hegseth, is the fact that you have a real threat of breaking those legs because of how skinny they are. That's lethality. I am more concerned about the 1939 stuff. There's another spot in the speech that I didn't pull because it's kind of really a deep dive, kind of a deep cut, where he's talking about how many troops in the United States military are identifying as Nordic pagans, which is, if you know your white supremacy lore, if you know what fuels the mythology surrounding the Third Reich characters, they all believe that they are Nordic. It's a weird white supremacy deep cut. And he's just saying it like it's a normal thing when it's a problem. But clearing out debris, he goes into. Clearing out the debris while leading a Pentagon that is literally erasing the contributions of black service members, of women, of LGBTQ troops, of anybody who's not sufficiently mournful of Charlie Kirk's death. That's the debris in Pete Hegseth's mind. If you're black, you're debris that needs to be discarded. If you're a woman in command, even special operator command, nope, you need to be cleared out. You are debris. If you're gay or trans, no good. You need to be cleared out like debris.
One of my favorite sayings is when people tell you who they are or show you who you are, you better believe it. Because like once he said that about the debris and the quotas, so that's DEI, that's affirmative action, that's all this other type stuff. You know, you got to get rid of that. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. Like you said, they're erasing all of our contributions in history. As soon as DEI was gotten rid of, over 300,000 black women lost jobs. Like that's fact. That's not conjecture. And they're just going down the line, attacking affirmative action. No more critical race theory. No more, Black History Month. Got rid of the Black History museums and all that type of stuff. Erasing your history for a reason. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. So we're going to keep going.
No more.
Okay, so now we're going to go to Isaiah 2. Isaiah chapter 2. Because remember, it's the end from the beginning. So this is what the end of it is, right? The word that Yeshayahu, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and above all nations, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come, you, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the Elohim of Yaakov, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. I know we've gone over this. And the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's the end of the thing. O house of Jacob, not the world, come you, and let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. That's what we're supposed to be doing now, walking in that light. That's what me and Sis were talking about earlier. You got to walk in that thing. You go Bam and his tribe. And it's like, this happens time after time after time, right? He shows you like the end of it, but something happens right before, because a lot of times you'll be reading different texts and you'll see this great salvation, and then right after that, it'll seem like this is happening after it, but it's actually happening right before it.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the end all be all, right? Isaiah 2, you can couple that with Micah 4, Shabbat Shalom, with Micah 4. And then it says, therefore you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob. So this is something that happens before the end times, right? Because they be replenished from the east, and are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Is that not our people now? Their land also is full of silver and gold, neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses, neither is there any end of their chariots. Their land also is full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. And the mean man bows down, and the great man humbleth himself. Therefore forgive them not, because they're humbling themselves before what? Amen. And the gods, the idols that they're making, right? Enter into the rock, and hide you in the dust, for fear of Yahuwah, and for the glory of his majesty. Because remember, the context from the end from the beginning was a people in captivity, right? So then he says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled. This is before that great day, right? And the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahuwah alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of Yahuwah Zebaoth shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low, and upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall. Now this is where it gets interesting. And upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. And Yahuwah alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols he shall utterly abolish. So he's talking about Tarshish. What is Tarshish? Do y'all remember?
Land of Tarshish.
Or, okay. Tarshish, right? It says it's a location, a distant site, not certainly known. Most Tartessius in Spain. We're going over the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff, I was like, wait, we're tying into Spain? Because I've read that before. I mean, we've all read it before. But all that's going back into Spain. There was going to be some type of great humbling that the Most High was going to do in Spain. He tells us the end from the beginning. Right, so I was reading all that. I'm like, that's crazy. So you see that on the left side. Just to make clear, this is another one. It said, it says, region subjected from the root Tartessus, a city of Spain with the adjacent country situated between the two mouths of the river Beatis, right? And then the third one said, a precious stone, because it's also known as a yellow jasper stone, so-called, no doubt from Tartessus, as Ophir is used for gold of Ophir. Right, it says a chrysolite, the topaz of the moderns, which is still found in Spain. So all of this stuff is tied to Spain, right? So I was like, okay, so there's people that are, because the reason why we end up going into captivity in Spain, because we were kind of sort of ruling with the Moors when we were in Spain. And the Moors, when did the Moors start ruling Europe? Do y'all remember? Dark Ages, which started in 711 AD. Till 1492.
That's what I was told, yeah.
Right? So 781 years. And then our people were actually there even before that, because when the southern kingdom of Judah went into captivity to Nebuchadnezzar, the actual king of Spain sent like a letter to the king Nebuchadnezzar, and he actually sent a bunch of our royal family to Spain. Right? So then you go to the New Testament. If you go to Romans 15, I think it's Romans 15, you'll see that Paul is talking about how he's going to go to Spain because we have tribes there. We have people over in Spain. So it's just Spain, 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 Spain. All this stuff is just tied to Spain. But again, there's a humbling. There was
Great awakening?
No, not an awakening. There was a captivity that was getting ready to happen. That was like a day of what they call the Lord, right? If we go back to Isaiah 2, because that's what it was talking about, right? It says, you go back to verse 11, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahuwah alone shall be exalted. Because, again, we were kind of sort of ruling with the Moors, and they would let us like keep our religion, but the problem was we got outside of the Torah, and we went to two things. We got into the Kabbalah.
Mixing up religions.
And we got into the Babylonian Talmud.
Yeah, mixing them up.
Every single time throughout history, when you start reading different books, and you see us getting to that, they're like, in great numbers, a desolation is nigh. It's just like a pattern with our people. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But there's something, it's like that thing is just too taboo for us, right? So that's Spain. So I thought that was interesting. Going back to Isaiah 2. And then he says, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of Yahuwah and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they have made, each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, right? To go into the clefts of the rock and into the tops of the ragged rocks for fear of Yahuwah and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Cease you from man whose breath is in his nostrils. For wherein is he to be accounted of, right? So now as we get into like a deeper part of history portion, this part is really called Hunter versus the Hunted. And so I'm giving y'all more backstory of like why people were doing certain things that they were doing. I'm just adding more to this thing about the Inquisition. I'm just trying to get y'all in the mindset, or I'm trying to help y'all understand why you deal with so much racism now. Yeah. Because it came from the church. It all started from the church propaganda. Mm-hmm. Came from the Roman Catholic Christian Church, literally, right? Yeah. Roman Catholic Christian Church, 3 C's. So this is another book, The Inquisition, a captivating guide to the medieval Spanish, Portuguese, and Roman Inquisitions, right? Because there were many different Inquisitions going on. Ours was the greatest one. It says the Spanish Inquisition. Now listen to this. It says, though I do regard the Inquisition in general and the burning of Giordano Bruno in particular as blots on the history of the Roman Catholic Church, I am far from being actuated by hatred of that church. And in fact, cannot imagine that European civilization would have developed or survived without it.
Oh my goodness.
This is about the Spanish Inquisition. You had to get moved out of the way. So European so-called civilization could thrive. And what kind of sense does that make? One group of people, predominantly, and then it did spread to others once they finally kicked us out?
Colonialism.
Zealots, boy. New Europe, right? So, now I'm going to set the stage a little bit. It says, as the stage began to be set for the hunters and the hunted during the Inquisition, Thomas D. Torquemada, what was some of the names that Torquemada was called? Do y'all remember? He was called Satan par excellence, or he was also known as the devil himself.
That's what it was. Devil himself.
He was also known as the devil himself, right? Was made chief of all inquisitors, gaining the title Inquisitor General. On the surface, Torquemada lived as a humble monk wearing worn-out clothes and beaten clothes, but behind the scenes, he was gathering a large number of funds. He used the money to renovate his old monastery and to build new ones. So he was really big into architecture, right? And so even though like he was known as the devil, like when it came to the people that would build things, he was all cool with them, had no issues with them, and he would always try to be around them. But to everybody else, he was trying to do them dirty, do them dirty. So then I'm gonna jump down. It says, although Thomas D. Torquemada would later be in the business of tearing people down, so he would build a lot of churches, but he would tear people down, right? He enjoyed nothing better than raising up new churches and other ecclesiastical structures. Thanks to Torquemada, the monastery of St. Thomas at Avila was erected. Now, one thing about him, because he was a hypocrite, he was a traitor, because he also had what? He had converso or crypto, quote-unquote Jewish ancestry. But they still allowed him to go up the ranks because his particular line, when they were mixing in with the other Europeans, we'll call them that. We'll just say the other Europeans, the old Europeans. Because remember, there were two types of Christians, right? There was the old Christians that were Catholic, and then there were the new Christians that were conversos, right? That were the Yahudim, right? That converted. Go ahead.
I have a question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't these here be more mulatto?
Yeah.
Mulatto, yeah.
I mean, there's the number of terms that they ended up giving us was. You said mulatto. We were called Moranos.
The ones that mixed more with our people that more mixed and try to assimilate into the.
Right. So like you said, the term mulatto. Yeah. Also the term Morano. There was some, like they gave us so many different bywords in Proverbs, just like in Deuteronomy 28. So no, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. So I'm gonna show y'all like a Sunday connection, right? Bam, if you don't mind, would you read this slide? So built and several other buildings were commissioned as well. Just start at any rate.
At any rate, upon being commissioned as the Inquisitor General, what's his name?
Torquemada.
Torquemada became quite serious about the task at hand. He sought to remake the already established rules of the Inquisition into his own image.
So he's gonna push that thing further than when it was supposed to go to, right?
Into his own
Because he hated his own people.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
His efforts to reform the Inquisition led him to compiling 28 new articles of what would be reframed as his own special instructions, quote unquote, on how the Inquisition should be carried out.
Now remember, I'm showing y'all a Sunday connection. Keep going.
The first article concerns the exact modus operandi. That's the one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Operation.
To be used when an Inquisition is being made for the first time in a new location.
What would they do?
The article laid down instructions to have all of the locals brought to church on a Sunday or a holiday.
Propaganda, right?
Yeah. Okay. A day when it would be common for them to gather. A sermon would then be delivered, which would be tailor-made, to support the Inquisition that was about to take place. Right. What Inquisition mean?
This is the did I put that in there? I don't think I actually did put that in there.
Like a changing?
It's not like a changing. It's like It's like you're investigating. You're questioning. It's almost like you're interrogating. I'll give you the exact definition. Hold on.
Like inquiring minds.
So Inquisition means a period of prolonged and intensive questioning or investigation. The second one says an ecclesiastical tribunal established by Pope Gregory IX for the suppression of heresy. So it's like interrogating. It's like the cops think you done something, the Pharisees think you've done something, you're about to get interrogated. Notice the word that I used. Interrogator, because that's really what it was. It was interrogation, in terror, right? Go ahead, Art.
I'm done.
Okay.
The servant would praise the virtues, right? Virtues of the pending inquisition, and condemn those of suspected deviants. In essence, this was a massive exercise in brainwashing and propaganda, and it was carried out well, setting the stage for the next major drama to come until auto da fe.
So what does auto da fe mean again? So auto da fe literally means act of faith.
Yeah,
act of faith. Y'all remember what the acts of faith were, right? The most severe one,
Public penance.
Public penance, right? And you just read that. And the most severe one would be you would be burned at the stake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are acts of faith.
Acts of faith.
Yeah.
From the church. From the church.
Catholic Church.
On February 6th.
So one thing. So this term act of faith, it didn't become a thing until the Spanish Inquisition. This is the origins of the racism that you deal with.
That's scary.
The church. Okay, keep going.
On February 6th, 1481, the first auto da fe.
Auto da fe.
Auto da fe, or act of faith, took place. This so-called act of faith were actually shorthand for public penance of all kinds, including burning folks at the stake or any other manner of public execution. During these instances, it was believed that if those who were condemned were innocent of the charges, that they would
listen to the psyche. Listen to the psyche.
They would be miraculously spared.
So if you were innocent, the Most High, He's going to send an angel just to save you. Right?
That's not going to happen.
That's the only thing that's going to stop these acts of faith.
The devil used one of them the thieves to tell him, man, if you is the son, save yourself.
Yeah, save yourself, right?
You innocent, right?
Yeah.
You the son.
Yeah.
But people are something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an act of God to save you.
Literally an act of God, acts to save you. This is coming from the church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps the wood would not burn, or perhaps the rope used to hang the condemned.
So wait a minute, you got them at the stake, and you done, and it's just not gonna burn, or
it must be
probably dry wood too. Good
good and dry. You know they dry that thing out for a week.
Put a little fuel on the knee, man. The rope used to hang the condemned might snap. Whatever the case may be, if the execution was deemed to have been supernaturally, what's the word? Thwarted.
Yeah.
It would have been called off. This is sort of superstition, rationalization would.
Jamal, you mind reading?
Yeah.
Your turn. But later.
Yeah. Later be made famous during the witch trial.
So we would die the same as a witch would die.
Yeah, by stake. By stake. Those who believed to be witches were routinely tossed into bodies of water to see what would happen. However, these instances came with a strange twist. If someone miraculously survived drowning, they were deemed to be a witch.
You can't make this up, bro. You can't win.
You can't
win.
You can't win for nothing.
You can't win for losing. like for real?
So you're a witch.
And they try to drown you and you survive. Oh no, that's a witch right there. We gonna kill her. We gonna burn her. So we can't drown her. We gonna burn her.
So she would. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So no matter what happens, you still gonna be a witch regardless. And they
Well, no. There's a way out of it. Keep reading.
Okay. Where was I at?
if someone miraculously survived drowning,
Yeah, drowning. They were deemed to be a witch. Whereas those who perish, come on, bro. That's what I'm saying.
There's a way out.
Whereas those who were killed or perished were proclaimed innocent. So once she did,
you did.
She was innocent the whole time.
Hey man, we were wrong. She wasn't a witch,
my bad. Apologies.
But if she survived, she was a witch though.
Oh.
So I could have been right even though I was wrong. So really, I was right.
Oh my.
Propaganda, right?
Propaganda. Go ahead, Elder. Go ahead.
Well, one of the reasons that they did this also is they knew exactly the legend had always preceded us wherever we went, because they realized that when the Israelites, the house of Yah, we were walking in the manner that Yah wanted us to walk, that we were able to, in righteousness, curse our enemies, and He would come to our rescue on a lot of things on our behalf. You know, it's like what made the prophets. So these things right here preceded us. That's the reason why they say, oh, yeah, these Negroes, they're witches. You know, I mean, when you look at even a lot of Salem witch parties, even things in early America, those people that were on the East Coast in Massachusetts, a lot of those folks was us, man.
Yeah.
This isn't anything new. There's nothing new under the sun when you come to the wickedness of these people.
No, at all. No, you're 100% correct. But I'm just trying to show you that it's illogical and it's a whole spirit on people that are like that. It's not everybody, but I'm just trying to show y'all history, so when y'all start seeing all these different signs, you're prepared like, no.
Like, it's happened before, so we know what's going on.
Yeah, bro, because we ain't going.
I didn't read the whole thing.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
The Pope often inflamed superstitions with his remarks.
Oh, yeah.
For example, Pope Innocent the Eighth issued a bull in 1484 in which he matter-of-factly stated his opinion that, among other things, women might be secretly converting with demonic entities, or that witches could be putting hexes on farms, resulting in bad harvest. Life was hard back then, and folks were looking for people to blame. Making such statements only played right into the urge to scapegoat others for the problems people faced. Then again, it must be noted that some popes.
So they were creating the chaos, order out of chaos, right? Oh no, it's these women that are witches. That's the reason why your crop's not growing. Oh well, let's go get them. Let's go burn them at the stake.
Yeah.
You see how it's still the church behind everything.
It can't be the ground.
And then when that didn't work, somebody else.
Or it could just be like if they read that scripture, when the land was struck with famine because it was evil, God was trying to cleanse it.
They didn't want to look at that though. They wanted to blame somebody else.
The vicar of Christ said that it was the women that were witches. That's what the vicar of Christ said.
The thing is, they had to blame it on somebody.
Yeah.
Or something. You know?
Just like now.
Yeah.
They have to have somebody to blame.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they always can pinpoint somebody. Oh yeah, it was this group.
But never themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The war on terror, we gotta go to Iraq. You sure about that?
Right.
So they fly these planes into these towers and their passports survive? That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like their IDs survive?
There's no parts of the plane.
Yeah, like they were evaporated, but they survived though.
But not only that, I mean, they were all
laminated.
They were all from Afghanistan, so why we going to Iraq?
Right. That was the biggest question.
Yeah.
Why are we going to Iraq again?
Saddam had nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
Like the whole time.
Well, Netanyahu's the reason why we got over there.
Probably.
We know that.
Yeah.
So then he says, out of the phase of 1,000 deaths, led to 1,000 deaths. It says, the Pope demanded at least some level of measured restraint. Pope Innocent VIII's immediate predecessor, Pope Sixtus IV, made it a point to urge caution during the Inquisition. In particular, he demanded better treatment of the hunted and hounded conversos of Iberia. Oh, he really cared about us, right? Thomas de Torquemada, the Grand Inquisitor himself oversaw a massive auto de fe held in Toledo, Spain, in March of 1487. This grim event is said to have led to over 1,000 deaths.
Man.
It must be explained that such a major onslaught did not occur overnight. The Inquisition into these supposed heretics was a lengthy process. So when you start thinking about Inquisitions, you need to start thinking about court cases. Because that's where they got the idea to do everything.
Yeah.
The origin of the police and the judicial system, all that came from the Inquisitions. Everything came from the Inquisitions. And they tried to give you the idea that the Inquisition ended. It didn't end. It never ended, because then we went into what? The transatlantic slave trade, which was an extension, a direct extension of that, because they expelled us out of Spain and other parts of Europe, the European world. So I think this is the right one. Yeah, okay. According to a standard procedure, those suspected of being in error were given a 30-day grace period. During this time, the accused had a chance to recant, and the accusers had time to gather supposed evidence against the condemned. Confessions during the 30-day grace period were greatly encouraged, and leniency was promised for those who did so. Those who confessed to trespasses did not typically receive serious punishment. The harshest measures were reserved for those who refused to confess on their own, and were instead accused by others. So if you didn't confess, you was up a creek without a problem.
I said on text message, it sounded like the church was doing human sacrifices.
Yeah. You know, they were sacrificing to the Lord, to Baal. You're right, June.
Yeah.
That was Brianna.
Oh, that was Brianna? That was sis? Oh, that was sis. You right, sis. Jamai, he can't read. Were all of the Inquisitions bloody? So I got a question for y'all. Were all the Inquisitions bloody? Because we're reading about
all of it.
Possible.
Okay.
They seem like it.
So we're going to go to the medieval Inquisition. Just a little bit of tidbit about it. It says, after the first act of faith ran its course, several had been burned to ashes, right? However, it is important to note that not all these spectacles resulted in executions.
Oh, really?
Theologian and historian Elphage van Vakander researched the history of the Inquisition and came to the conclusion that death was much rarer than many contemporary portrayals had led on. He looked all the way back to the medieval Inquisition. To the medieval Inquisition, which directly preceded the Spanish. It was right before it, Inquisition. The medieval Inquisition was actually a series of inquisitions that began in the late 12th century or the 1100s. These included the Episcopal Inquisition that took place from 1184 and lasted until the 1230s. The medieval Inquisition was aimed at rooting out supposed errors in doctrine. According to Vakander, although the threat of death as punishment was always there, for the most part, Bernard Gui's medieval Inquisition was much more theatrical than forceful, with a solemn sermon as a warning for the accused and others of what might happen if they transgressed against the teachings of the Catholic Church. So the medieval one, people wasn't really dying. But it's just something different about the Spanish Inquisition. The curses of Deuteronomy 28. Teachings of the Catholic Church. Vakander's theory about the Inquisition having fewer deaths than believed is an accurate statement for the medieval Inquisition, so it's true. Yes, people died, but they likely did not die in the tens of thousands, so not hardly ever. However, the Spanish, Portuguese, and Roman Inquisitions would become a much more formidable institution than its medieval predecessors. The Spanish Inquisition, in particular, would become notorious for the number of lives that would be lost during it. So people weren't really dying like that until they got to the ones where we were the main characters in it. Origins of racism. Us and the Portuguese lost during it. The exact number is not known, although some estimate that the death toll was in the tens of thousands. Others have suggested there were hundreds of thousands of deaths, and still others are of the opinion that millions died. as a result of the Spanish Inquisition. Especially when considering all of the vigilante justice that occurred from everyday citizens. Sunday propaganda. Something about the Negro.
Yeah.
The Vatican released a report in 2004 about the Spanish Inquisition, saying that the number of deaths in the Inquisition has been greatly exaggerated over the years. However, the report only looked at deaths that were decided by church tribunals.
Of course, bro.
It did not take into account other tribunals that were not sponsored by the quote-unquote church. Although these tribunals did not have the backing of the Catholic Church, they operated on the same principles as the church-sponsored ones. Namely, on the fear that subversives would cause chaos and bring down Christianity. So they were scared that we were going to kill Christianity.
Kill the whole
Don't get me wrong, eventually it's going to die.
Yeah.
But they were scared that we were going to be the ones to do it.
Nope, it's happening right now.
People love their traditions.
What happened in Oscarville?
I have no idea.
I don't know what it is.
In Georgia,
Yeah.
I think it got flooded, didn't it?
Whoever wants to read, read.
Lake Lanier, I believe.
That's like Lanier, yeah, you're right. The Oscarville massacre refers to the horrific racial violence in Forsyth County, Georgia, starting in 1912 after a white...
Because we know about Black Wall Street, right?
Yeah. After a white woman's alleged assault leading to the lynching of a black man, Rob Edwards, and subsequent violent expulsion, burning, and terrorizing of the black community, effectively driving out all African Americans through mob violence, arson, and intimidation, making Oscarville a symbol of deep-seated racial hatred.
So again, it wasn't authorized by the church, but there were other tribunals. Now this is way after that, right? Technically,
Right.
But I'm showing y'all, they were doing this to us then. And if that's all you see, why do you think that they would have hangings and everyone would come in there and watch the hangings?
The whole town.
Because the church had already got them programmed to think that that's okay.
Yeah.
All of this stuff comes from the church.
Yeah.
Right?
And the
Keep
burning
on.
of the crosses, like that, they use that a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Burning at the stake, like you said. Burning at the cross, the same thing.
Yeah.
They programmed the people to be like this. It's the propaganda. It's really, that's why she's the mother of all harlots. It's like the chiefest witchcraft that you have to deal with. Because again, the other Inquisitions paled in comparison to this one.
Yeah.
Like, that's strange.
Yeah.
So the other ones, people ain't really dying, but this one, like, they really literally tried to blot us out completely.
They stepped their game up. That's what they did. They got more evil.
And this was prior to the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
Keep going on.
September 1912, May Crow, a white woman, was found bludgeoned and assaulted in Oscarville, which is part of Forsyth County. Rob Edwards lynched. Rob Edwards, a black man, was arrested as a suspect, but lynched by a white mob from the jail. His body was mutilated. Escalating violence. Following Edwards' death, white mobs launched a systematic campaign of terror against black families, burning homes, destroying property, and intimidating residents. Expulsion. The violence culminated in the forced expulsion of nearly the entire black population from Forsyth County, leaving a legacy of racial cleansing that persisted for decades.
Is that not what happened in Spain? Did we not get expelled?
Yeah, expulsion. Get out of here.
We just read how they just did that altar to fail on that black man.
Yeah.
A public execution.
And they don't even know he even beat that woman up. Like,
They don't know who did it, but they just blamed
found
us.
somebody. Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of our black
Exactly.
neighborhoods and communities and
Yep.
that we had. I mean, it just took one person to say, oh, they did this.
They have to blame it on somebody.
Yeah.
Because it was already embedded in their DNA though,
Yeah.
from the church, because the church made it okay. It was authorized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all got to start understanding, like, when we be trying to say come out of her,
Yeah.
the church is not for us. I love everybody. You know, I try to deal with everybody as good as I can.
Yeah.
But once you start learning the history, you would never want to be a part of that thing. Believe the book, stay out of that thing.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, because with this rise in Christian nationalism,
Yeah.
they think that they're doing everything by the book.
And they're not.
It's the same spirit. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Right? So then it says, still about Oscarville. In September, you got it?
Yeah, I got
Okay,
it.
go ahead. My bad.
In September 1912, white residents in Forsyth County accused 3 black men of sexually assaulting May Crow.
So this is more backstory.
Yeah, a white woman from the small community of Oscarville. Sheriff Bill Reed arrested Rob Edwards, Ernest Knox, and Oscar Daniel. A mob of white locals lynched Rob Edwards in downtown Cumming while Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel were executed after being convicted by an all-white jury.
A jury of his peers.
He had no chance.
A jury of his peers. Right?
He had no chance. White residents forcibly displaced more than 1,000 black residents from Forsyth.
They did what?
Forcibly displaced more than 1,000 black residents from Forsyth.
Isn't that what we just read about? 1,000 that happened in Spain?
Yes.
It's kind of crazy because I didn't even see that until now. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
But that's a little auto de fe.
Act of faith.
And it's exactly what happened to us in Spain.
Yeah.
You will start seeing it in America. It continually happens to certain groups of people because we are the people, and we gotta eventually get it right.
So residents forcibly displaced more than 1,000 black residents from Forsyth County in response to the accusations and informally banned black people from living there until the 1990s. It became a part of Lake Lanier. So
so then they flooded it.
Yeah, I was right then. You didn't want to
I heard
say
about
that.
Lake Lanier though.
Huh?
Because I heard about Lake Lanier.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Both of y'all was right.
Now they do it a lot smoother. It's called gentrification.
Oh yeah. We're gonna move some more different races in and make y'all, get up out of here. We're gonna raise the rent up.
Yeah, once we rebuild everything for the Lolo, because we bought it for the Lolo.
Yeah.
Rebuild it, and then we're gonna charge,
double the price.
Boy, we're gonna make a killing.
And force everybody.
We're gonna make some shillings.
And don't forget that even right here, what you talk about, not too far from us, right down the road going south, you have Lake Eufaula. You had a couple black towns that were that were flooded. To build a lake. Check your history on it.
Really?
They don't want your brother doesn't forget. And you wonder why I have I don't forget.
Yeah, we know you don't. We know you don't. We know it. We know. He ain't letting nothing slide.
You wonder why I feel.
Boy, you saw him gangbanging? No.
The Inquisitor's motivation.
So I'm gonna show y'all the motivations behind it, and I just want to get y'all's opinion of it. This is why they hated us, though. It was because once we converted over, allegedly, we knew that we had a more sincere connection because we were the covenanted people. Some of us were boastful, but there was a more physical reason why they had an issue with this. More material. Okay. Go ahead, Ad.
As dreadful as all of this is, one might naturally wonder what was in it for the Inquisitors themselves. Some were, no doubt, die-hard religious zealots who led by their own, however misguided belief that they were serving a greater good by rooting out non-Christians.
Now, can anybody show me anywhere in the text where it says you have to be a Christian to be saved? I need to, just show me the text.
They don't say nothing about being a Christian to be saved.
It's not in there.
Yeah, it never said that.
So, okay, show me where it says being a good Catholic will save you.
Oh, it never said that either.
So what do people be talking about?
We don't know. It's religion.
And I quote, they ain't talking about nothing.
Yeah,
they ain't talking about nothing.
They ain't talking about nothing.
They ain't talking about nothing. Okay.
They ain't talking about nothing.
All right, keep going.
Others were not motivated as much by religion as they were by monetary gain.
By what?
Monetary gain.
Huh.
You know how that bread gets you?
Because you was talking about greed earlier. I could have sworn you said something about greed.
Yeah.
'Tis the season. Go ahead.
There was always the opportunity for an inquisitor to receive a lot of money or other goods if they targeted rich people. If one were found to be a heretic, all of their property and fortune were forfeited.
So, because okay, read this next one.
Many of the conversos who were so ruthlessly targeted in the first phase of the Spanish Inquisition were wealthy.
Because that's what didn't make any sense to me, because if you're worried about us joining the Moors, and there were way more Moors than there were of us, way more Moors than us, wouldn't you try to go take them out first?
You would think so.
Would.
So y'all was jealous of our wealth
Rich people.
and success
Yeah.
and properties and land.
So once they find you a heretic, even if they lie about it, it took all
So,
your.
well, hey, since I got you that accusation, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
It's on me.
Yeah.
Say less.
Everything mine.
They doing it to this
Everything
day.
good to this day.
It's like, you know what I mean? Not to be a part of, I'm like, I don't, not victim shaming nobody.
Yeah.
But all our quote unquote,
Mike.
but all our quote unquote black entertainers always get hit with and it's all about the money.
Tax
If
evasion.
it ain't about the
stuff like
money,
that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? People think they don't get paid, the Me Too movement, all that crap.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
it don't
Just-
change.
Just a
Ain't
different
nothing
way.
new up under the sun.
You know? Alright. Many were merchants or doctors or served in some other capacity that brought them an affluent position. However, all it took was a random accusation for all of their assets.
Not a proof of accusation. You talk about the Me Too movement, all this other type stuff.
Right.
Just an accusation.
Bro, you can think of something and go tell somebody and then they stuff be yours.
Bro,
You
and
know it's one-
you're not killing nobody, you ain't raping nobody, you ain't robbing nobody. They just think that you have a different faith.
When you woke up one morning and thought about, hey, he got a different faith than I do.
Bro, he don't believe like I do. I can tell you that right now. I can look at him right now. He don't believe like I
God
do.
showed me in a dream.
They,
Yeah.
what is it?
I had a vision.
It's called something. They got a word for it, but it's like conspiracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
conspiracy. Yeah.
It's a literal conspiracy.
Yeah.
They
Literal.
said conspiracy is one of the hardest things to fight in court.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all, I said he did something. Like, all I gotta do is, if they believe it, now he gotta prove that he not
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And that type of propaganda conspiracies is what politicians major in.
Yeah.
Even if it's not true, they'll just throw stuff out there and see what sticks.
Yeah.
This is where that comes from.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Keep going.
However, all it took was a random accusation for all their assets to be taken from them and divvied up by the inquisitors and their helpers, the so-called
Familiars.
who served as guards and enforcers for the inquisitors. There are even cases in which the familiars, the harsh taskmasters of the inquisitors, were given immunity.
That sound like police officers, right?
Police,
Qualified immunity, right?
Police.
I wonder where all this stuff comes from.
Yeah,
Interesting.
politicians, you know how that go.
Well, I'm just talking about the police right now because they get away with murder.
Even with the on video.
Yeah.
On
yeah,
cam.
yeah. This essentially allowed the familiars to run roughshod over communities and commit all manner of offenses without fear of any repercussions. But even when the inquisitors and their cronies were found guilty of outright extortion, nothing came of it. The absolute corruption of the inquisitors as an institution would create a lot of pain and sorrow for those who fell in the crosshairs. For them, there was no recourse. These hunted and hounded individuals would be at the full mercy of the Inquisition and its Grand Inquisitor.
So there's no lawyer, there's no recourse, just from
You ain't got no
accusation,
help.
you done lost it all.
Yeah, you ain't got no help, yeah.
And this is the Spanish Inquisition,
Yeah.
not all the other ones.
Yeah.
Because again, we were the wealthiest people, more than likely, almost on earth.
Had the most prominent jobs, you know.
But they just want you to think you only come from chains and slavery.
It sound like Black Wall Street all over again.
If you look at my note on that other slide that you just read, it's literally what it said.
Oh, for real?
I just didn't say that. So it sounded like Black Wall Street.
Man.
That's what it sounded like.
Golly.
Because the government came in and they bombed.
Yeah.
The government, think about, I want y'all to really think the government bombed us.
Yeah.
Because one guy, or a couple of guys might have, or we'll say allegedly, was accused of raping a girl, right?
Always, bro.
Why is it always the same,
Always.
the same song?
Always the same offense.
Like it's crazy. It's the same thing over and over and over again, man. It's like look at Jerome. It's like a broken record. Same playbook. Go ahead, Jerome. Give them.
There's a book out there. It's called The Tulsa Race Riot, and it gives a detail. I didn't know nothing about it. I just happened to found it in my classroom, and I started reading it. And it's a detailed accusation that it happened in an elevator woman went out, boy didn't do nothing, and then that's how, and it's like all these communities. Oklahoma wasn't the only state with the Black Wall Street.
No.
It's other states had Black Wall Streets, and it's the fact that we were excelling.
Yes.
They thought everything they told about, the propaganda they expected about the black people they're dumb, they're uneducated, they can't do this, they stink. But with these Black Wall Streets, their scenario, their propaganda about us was totally wrong. And the crazy part about it is, everyone keep talking about the Great Depression, the Great Depression.
Yeah.
The Great Depression didn't affect the black communities. It didn't affect Black Wall Street. They wondered why, because the black people were not allowed to put their monies in banks. So they kept it under the mattress.
Probably a good practice to get back into right now.
We also had our own banks too.
They kept it away from, they kept it away. So if y'all had our monies, y'all wouldn't have had the Great Depression. But because they did that, the black people were able to afford stuff. But they didn't go out and extravagance it because they didn't want them coming in and taking what they had. Well, how they able to afford it? So they just played the game along with them, like they didn't have enough money for food and all this. But actually they did, but they didn't want them knowing.
Facts.
Because when they found out, they came and did.
Yeah.
Black people saved Cadillac.
Yeah.
We all know that. Literally. But it's crazy because it's the same playbook. Over, they just remix it. The remix to ignition, that's all they do. They just remix stuff. And this is not to say all white people ain't nobody. We're not speaking in absolutes. We're talking about predominantly the church and for those people that are racist, because there are a lot of racists in America, period. So.
And every day they showing themselves.
Every day.
Especially now that on the internet and all that.
Oh yeah, of course. She had they get more and more bold by the day. So the Spanish Inquisition was also known as officially the Tribunal of the Holy Office, right? So I'm gonna read this quote. The decent moderation of today will be the least of human things tomorrow. At the time of the Spanish Inquisition, the opinion of good sense and of good medium was certainly that people ought not to burn too large a number of heretics. Extreme and unreasonable opinion obviously demanded that they should burn none at all. So somebody got to burn.
Yeah.
Sound like Usher. The Spanish Inquisition, which was officially called the Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition, came about during the reign of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. It first came into being in 1478. These measures had been approved by Pope Sixtus the Fourth. The pontiff had given the go-ahead to the Inquisition due to the growing concerns over newly converted Christians, or the Jews, who were believed to be secretly practicing a different faith. So again, the church okayed all this stuff. They sanctioned all this stuff. Church history, man. The tribunal was created toward the end of the Reconquista. And the initial impetus for establishing it was out of a desire to establish a universal Catholic presence in Iberia, because they knew that's where we were. Iberia had previously been largely a multi-faith dominion. But as the Reconquista came to a close, King Ferdinand and Isabella wished to consolidate the lands of Iberia and ensure the people believed in Catholicism. They had no desire for interfaith coexistence. Instead, they yearned for an entirely Christian dominion. They wanted to kick certain peoples out.
Iberia was in Africa, right? I'm talking.
No, Iberia is still in Europe.
Is it?
Pretty sure it's still in Europe.
Liberia. Yeah, it's still.
Liberia.
That's Liberia.
Africa.
And don't forget, you got Iberia Parish in Louisiana. I mentioned that one time.
Okay, yeah, he did.
So, what was King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella's true motivations for the Inquisition? So in some of the earlier teachings on this series, we talked about how Torquemada was kind of being the puppeteer behind the scenes, right? Yeah. And Torquemada, he was also known as the what? He was called what?
The devil himself.
The devil himself, or Satan par excellence.
Yeah.
Crazy. It says, so it is more likely these monarchs were not just motivated by religion, but also by pragmatic politics and military strategy. So this had to do with military. Now listen, that's why I made that statement earlier. Yes, they had just reconquered the Iberian Peninsula, but their grip on it was far from secure. North Africa was still under complete Muslim dominion, and Muslim corsairs filled the waters of the Mediterranean. So if that's the case, why are y'all not kicking out the Muslims?
Yeah, the Moors.
Again, it was about what we had. They
and they
envy, jealousy.
And they seen us as an easier target too, more than likely.
And the thing about it is the Moors kind of worked with them.
There you go.
Go ahead, Elder.
I have a question. When you talk about the Moors, and we know that a lot they practiced a lot of faith of Islam, and they were part of the Arab slave trade, a big part of it. But were a lot of them sell out Israelites too that were in there involved with that? So
yeah, when it comes to Moors, so with Moors, when you have African Moors that aren't quote unquote Israelite you got African quote unquote Moors that aren't of Israelite stock, but then you still have Israelite Moors that converted over to that also. Because even was it the kingdom of Mali at one point in time was known as the Jewish nation, and then they converted to Islam. All these other countries they I said Jewish because that's the way they put it in their the books that they write. Right. But there are a lot of them that weren't, but they did that just so they would have peace, and they would be crypto Moors. A lot of books don't even talk about that. They were crypto Moors also. So they were, or crypto Muslims. They would act like they were Muslims, and then secretly they would be keeping the faith also. Yeah. So
what crypto mean? I heard you say
like in fake or in secret. So this literally means in secret. So a lot of our ancestors were crypto Jews. So what it was, they got baptized in Catholicism or Christianity openly. But as soon as they got back home, they were renouncing all that, and then they were in the Torah and doing everything they were supposed to do.
Passover and all that.
Yeah.
Playing the game.
And then that's what the Inquisitor was like, wait a minute, I ain't seen no fire on this Shabbat. Yeah. You know what? They ain't nobody moving, ain't no lights on. Yeah, we got them. We got them. Because you remember in some of the other ones, you couldn't do nothing because they be checking everything. Yeah. They don't eat pork, you know that, right? Yeah. They weren't at church on Sunday. They'd be checking. So you get the idea of having tails and being followed and surveilled. That came from the Inquisitors. Yeah. Everything from the police force and the court system, all that stuff came from the Inquisitions. Predominantly the Spanish one, because they were even keeping all of these different records and
having a judge and all that good stuff.
Right. History is crazy, man. Yeah. And then it says, it was feared that the Muslim population of Spain, not the Jews, the Muslim population of Spain, not the Yahudim, as well as some Yahudim population centers, could unite and provide support and cooperation for another major Islamic advance into Iberia. So again, they were more scared of the Moors than us. The deep suspicion that was held for the Yahudim must be mentioned, since the early phases of the Inquisition heavily persecuted the Yahudim. Those who practiced Judaism, that's what they call it, were not viewed as being, before that, Obadiah. So remember we was talking about Spain, right? Yeah. So we're going to read Obadiah, it's only one chapter, verses 17 through 21. It says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them, and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahuwah hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines. And they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria. And Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So Sepharad, right? Sepharad means to be separated or exiled. You know where Sepharad really is? Read it, Jeremiah.
Sepharad is a biblical term traditionally identified with Spain, and
Sephardic.
Oh wow, okay. Sephardic Jews of Spanish origin. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So read the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. How the terms connect. Sepharad appears in Obadiah 1:20. In Jewish tradition, especially from late antiquity onward, Sepharad came to be identified with the Iberian Peninsula.
They knew we was there. They knew we was there.
Yeah. Sephardium or Sephardim literally means people of Sepharad. It refers to Jews whose ancestors lived in Spain and later Portugal before the expulsions.
Now, I want y'all to pay real close attention to this next part when it says historical background.
Okay. Jews lived in Spain for many centuries under Rome, Visigothic, Muslim, and Christian rule. In 1492, Jews were expelled from Spain and from Portugal.
So we were in Spain and in Portugal. We're going to go over the Portuguese Inquisition also.
Yeah. In 1492, Jews were expelled from Spain and from Portugal in 1497. These exiled communities settled across North Africa and the Ottoman Empire.
So wait, why are Jews going to Africa after getting expelled and even to the Ottoman Empire?
Which is Turkey, the Middle East, Italy, and later the Americas, preserving Ladino, Judeo, Spanish language, distinct Sephardic liturgy and customs. The bottom line, Sepharad, Spain, and Jewish biblical and rabbinic tradition, Sephardium, Jews originating from Spain.
So we're clear, like they know we was over there because we got exiled over there.
Yeah.
Now I can keep going, we can stop there, it's up to y'all. It's up to y'all.
Go a little bit longer, I guess.
Y'all tell me.
Well, keep going. Let's go, a couple.
Okay. All right.
Still a couple more slides.
How much slides you got?
How much slides you got? That's the question.
Yeah, you probably got 100.
We ain't gonna go over all the slides. I got like 91 slides.
91?
Yeah.
What slide are we on?
340.
Yeah, we've been doing this for the past,
month.
Yeah.
Month
We've been out for a month, but yeah.
You keep bringing that up. Yeah, we ain't been here in a month, man. Every time. Are we having it today? Like, man, you know. So those who practice Judaism were not viewed as being loyal to a Christian kingdom in the same way that practicing Christians would be. So Yahudim were constantly viewed as suspect. That sounds like a marriage. They sound like they're getting stereotyped.
Yeah.
Many Christians feared that it would not take much for Yahudim communities to switch sides and aid a Muslim invasion. Instead of worrying about the Muslims, they so worried about us.
But the Jews and the Muslims would never work together, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We would have our own separated community.
Yeah,
like we would live with them, but we'd have our own quarter, square, whatever, villa.
We wouldn't fight with them. That's what I'm saying. That would never happen.
It says, we may not agree with such stereotyping of groups of people today, but things were seen in a different light back then. Thus, the main purpose of the Inquisition was to root out supposed subversives from Iberia, lest they help facilitate the next major Islamic incursions. We weren't not Muslims. It don't make no sense. And completely undo all of the gains of the Reconquista. And as mentioned, during the first phase of the Inquisition, the Yahudim community was targeted in a major way. Besides fears that the Yahudim could collaborate with outside forces to overthrow the kingdom, there was widespread concern that recently converted Yahudim, known as conversos, were susceptible to being pulled back to Judaism. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella became, whoever wants to read, go ahead.
Determined to expel practicing Jews from Iberia. In 1483, the first major expulsions occurred in Cordoba, Cadiz, and Seville. As these expulsions began, sensational charges were leveled against Jews in Toledo.
Of course.
alleging that they had ritually sacrificed a Christian child.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because we do that. Yeah, no, we don't.
No solid proof of this has ever been found.
So just an accusation.
Yeah. But the Christian mobs in Toledo were caught up in such a frenzy that a group of Jews and conversos were apprehended, interrogated, and killed over these wild charges. Torquemada oversaw these happenings and made sure that the punishment was severe.
Of course the devil did.
He's the devil, man.
Of course he did.
You know what it sound like?
What? What's it sound like?
It sound like the Klan.
Yeah.
It do sound like the Klan.
Yeah. Yeah. It was only after the Reconquista was complete with the final conquest of Grenada in 1492 that total expulsion was recommended. The notion that all Jews who refused to convert would be expelled is almost unbelievable. It is hard to even fathom that such a thing could happen.
It's not that hard to fathom now because we saw what they started doing to all the quote-unquote illegals.
Yeah. Got them up out of there.
Because they were just expelled, right?
Yeah, got them up out of there. But it has been recorded for posterity that the Spanish monarchs issued an infamous edict on March 31st, 1492, which stated that the Jews of Spain had two choices.
Get down and lay down.
Yeah, get down and lay down. Become Christians or leave the country. Some did accept the offer to convert, thereby becoming lumped in with all of the other so-called conversos, but many steadfastly refused to give up their ancestral faith. Their only option was to sell everything they owned, save a few things they could carry, and leave the country for an unknown land again. The first of the Grand Inquisitors, Tomas de Torquemada, perished in 1498. Unlike many of those...
No, just skip down.
Okay. Diego de Deza, who just so happened to be good friends with Christopher Columbus, who had made his famous voyage of discovery just a few years prior, was a known figure in the Spanish Inquisition.
Diego Deza turned down for what? That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead. So you done with me? Oh, this is allegedly what he looked like. Turned down for what?
Court. Rather than tamping down the Inquisition, Diego de Deza actually ramped it up.
Turned down for what?
Yeah, and he ramped it up considerably. In 1500, just a couple of years after he was inaugurated as the chief inquisitor, Diego de Deza took on one of the most infamous cases. A woman said to be a converso started a popular following in some remote corner of Spain. She and her followers claimed to have been imparted with divine visions. Normally, such a thing would not have been too troubling for the Catholic Church. That is, as long as it fell along the usual lines of Catholic teaching and belief. But this supposed prophetess and her followers claimed to have seen things that were not on the typical Catholic script.
The Catholic Church wants to be your God.
Yeah.
They want to control every facet of your life. The Roman Catholic Christian Church.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, keep going.
The prophetess and her followers were allegedly transported to another realm. What? Okay,
this is what they are alleging.
Yeah, another realm, and saw indescribable things. Whatever it was that they swore they saw was not palatable for the church. As such, an audit of faith was held. She and her hundreds of followers were held to account for their actions.
So just because they had this mystical event, no, we got to get them out of here.
Yeah. Ironically, the pagan oppressors of the early Christians, the latter of whom claimed to have seen and witnessed incredible things, and the inquisitors who persecuted Iberian mystics, whether converso or Morisco, are really one and the same. The early Christians and the Iberian mystics both had a mystical experience that was deemed contrary to the popular dogma of the day. In both instances, their willingness to go against the grain of the accepted narrative ultimately made them targets of persecution. At any rate, not one, but two auto de fe were held in the spring of 1501 to take care of these supposed heretics. Not all inquisitors would have a free hand, and there were cases when some were deemed to have gone just a bit too far, as was the case with Grand Inquisitor Diego Rodriguez Lucero of Cordoba. Diego created much dread and anguish through his bizarre fears of a converso conspiracy.
So he's just paranoid about us, right?
Conspiracy to plant Christianity with Judaism.
I got it. He says, his paranoia was entirely unfounded, but he would take the weakest of accusations and suspicions to persecute whole communities, not just a person, whole community. Yeah. Many prominent and well-known figures were either conversos or simply had a distinct relative who found themselves in his crosshairs. The onslaught became so terrible that Diego's own subordinates eventually turned on him and pleaded with the Pope to intervene. So, again, this whole mindset, this whole spirit got on people to where he just went insane. How are you going to persecute a whole community from one person? Yeah. That don't even make no sense.
You got a demon in you.
Yeah, go ahead.
In studying this here, delectable information here, which no one can refute.
Yeah.
Now, do you see why a lot of these people, especially when you talk about all immigrants, really a lot of them, when they come here and they see FBAs, but when you talk about those that are from these Latin countries, think about even all of how Christianity all up through on the West Coast, where they have all these here little, I can't think of what they call them now, but where they're little churches and stuff all up and down, the coast.
Yep.
Why you see these people have a disdain? I mean, is it all kind of tied in now?
Oh, trust me.
The brainwashing.
The brainwashing is definitely real. Trust me.
Because when you look at all the way even from Brazil all the way up, their God is white Jesus. I mean,
doesn't exist.
All through there. Come on, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. People may not like what I'm saying, but it is what it is.
You're right.
It is what it is for real.
Yeah, it's propaganda, it's brainwashing, it's MK Ultra, it's the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, it's madness, really. And that's why I'm just trying to show y'all history, just so, again, we got to make sure that we're passing this information on to our kids. Just because, we don't know if we had to leave here, what's going to happen. Because the pattern's been, we end up having to leave the lands once we get a little too comfortable in it. Maybe people get into some stuff they shouldn't be into. So I'm just trying to make people aware. And I'm going to throw one caveat. All of these people doing these things were not all white people.
Yeah.
A lot, the biggest proponent of them pushing this agenda forward was our own people that were turncoats and traitors, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Moors, some of us ended up getting sold to the Moors because some of us got caught they gave us that time period where we had to leave. Yeah. Then those that wouldn't, or those that got caught, some of them just got caught, they got sold to the Moors. So it's more, when you start looking into actual history, it's more than just black and white.
Yeah.
But same token, we already know all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what Benjamin Franklin said in that book, most of the people in Europe were quote unquote what you would call black people.
Yeah.
So we got to start making sure we're redefining everything. If you're going to say a type of European, put an ish on it so we know that, okay, so y'all came after the Reconquista, right? That would be after 1492. Then y'all start taking over Europe. Y'all are the newer Europeans, right? Y'all weren't the quote unquote original because they were darker skinned, if we're being honest, right? So I just wanted to caveat with that. So then he says, one official complaint read, in part, that the captain of Cordoba was able to defame the whole kingdom, to destroy a great part of it without God or justice, slaying and robbing and violating maids and wives. This is what these people were doing, these inquisitors and wives, to the great dishonor of the Christian religion. By this point, Queen Isabella had passed, doing so in 1504. And the nominal governance of Castile was replaced by her daughter, Joanna, and her husband, Philip. Both monarchs took an interest in the situation and wanted to investigate. We'll just stop on this slide because I want to show y'all the actual torture mechanisms, but I think that's still probably like 10 slides. I was hoping we were closer to it, but we're not. And wanted to investigate for themselves. Unfortunately for them, the abrupt passing of Philip and the subsequent mental distress of Joanna proved to derail their efforts. It was not until the surviving King Ferdinand II of Aragon gained control of the situation that the Mad Inquisitors' campaign of terror was brought to a halt in 1507, because again, they became drunk with power, raping, robbing, murdering, everything. Ferdinand did not just punish the captain of Cordoba, but also went straight up the ladder of command to his boss and fired Inquisitor General Deza. Deza was replaced with a much more benign, at least benign as far as inquisitors go, inquisitor by the name of Jimenez, also known as Francisco Jimenez de Cisneros. I don't know how to say that. He served as Inquisitor General for the next 10 years from 1507 to 1517. Jimenez would prove to be much more careful and thorough in his inquests than his predecessors had been. He also cleaned house. In addition to the dismal of Lucero, the whole inquisitorial deck was reshuffled. So we will stop there, and we're on 350. So again, next time we should get to, I'm going to show y'all the actual torture machines, and the way they would torture and kill people is wicked. Like, I'm going to let y'all know that. That stuff's crazy. That stuff's wild. But again, everything's from the end, from the beginning. So we go into captivity, but we end up getting the kingdom because what does it say in Daniel 7? That the beast would wear out the saints, and then in the end, the saints take the kingdom. So that wearing out of the saints is captivity. And that's one thing that the Roman Catholic Christian Church don't really want to talk about. Right? They want to keep you in their version of theology. But that's all I got. You mind praying us out?
Heavenly Father, we want to say thank you for everything that you've done, you're doing, and what you're going to do. We thank you for this word, Heavenly Father. Let us keep our ear open for your truth. Let us hear this still small voice, that quiet voice, Heavenly Father. Let us understand what you are doing in this season, Heavenly Father. And whatever you're doing, don't do it without me.
No.
We love you, we praise you, we lift you up, we magnify your holy and righteous name. Keep us forever in your care. Forgive us for all our sins, from our ancestors on down to the generations to come. We love you and we praise you. These are the blessings in your darling Son, Yeshua's name we pray. Amen.
So we are Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time, Shalom, tribe.
Whoa.